Oh, it's 235. We were gamers. I'm let it in musically. Hello, everyone. JJ, hi.
Hello.
Michael, hello.
Hey, everybody.
I am musical today because I enjoy spending Mondays with you two. And I just wanted to say that out loud. That's it. That's the entirety of it. Hello.
I mean, plus there's that fire beat intro that everyone heard before this. So
Yeah, that's a pretty good intro. I monkey with it on the subpods, but I've never considered it on the main. Like, I know a lot of podcasts change it up. We've had that for 235, and I still like listening to it.
Why mess with a good thing?
I know. Yeah, shout out
exactly, got it
to
right. Got it right the first time.
Mr. Rosner. Thank you again. Continuing thank yous for our
Yeah, what a
sick
hero,
intro.
dude.
Oh, it's a Monday. It's been a week. We've played some games. We've cooked some food, and we've done some housework. Let's get into some of it. Michael, lead us off with the truest We Were Gamers forum. Let's gripe about something.
Yeah, so I've got a
Yes.
food. It does not rise to the level of food crimes and misdemeanors, but I've got a food gripe.
So we're reporting this to the health department, but no judges are being called into
Right.
session.
Yeah, we're not convening the court. There's no all rise here, but yeah, this is a formal complaint to the health department, I guess.
Yeah. So there's when you go to a fast food drive-through, there is kind of a dance you do with the person who's handing you your food, right? They're stuffing napkins in the bag and they always ask you the same question. Do you want any sauces? Right? Pretty standard convention.
Unless you go to, there's a couple places that will ask you when you order. Like I know Miguel's asks you how many you want.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
some places will ask you up front.
McDonald's
But
asks you which ones you want.
Taco Bell actually asks you up front now.
But
yeah,
during the
they have
order,
changed.
Yes.
oh,
They
Yep.
say after you say all the stuff you want, they're like any hot sauces, and then you say what you want and the
And they throw it on the
level.
screen.
Yep.
oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so we went out just for some fast food the other night. Got to the window, the guy asked the question, and having gotten, I got two things, right? I got French fries,
Okay.
and I got we were at Jack in the Box, so I got a order of mini tacos.
Oh, the
Now
new mini tacos.
the new mini tacos. Now, when the mini tacos were introduced, they were introduced as mini tacos that got served with an avocado crema,
Man, this
right?
is
They
really
were
gripe level stuff, isn't
they
it?
were they were a complete dish. Yeah, it's going to be a great. They were a complete dish. So, I asked for sauces to dip my french fries into, and I did not ask for the sauce, the avocado crema that was supposed to come with the tacos. Fast forward, get home, there's no crema.
Oh,
Should I have had to ask for it if the expectation is that it's a dish, right? The tacos and the crema are a thing that come together.
no.
Is that still the case, or did they change the thing so that you order them now and it doesn't come with the crema anymore?
Maybe they changed it and I didn't notice, but
I have
originally that's how it was advertised.
I have not been to Jack in the Box or had their mini tacos in quite a while, so I don't know if this is the case. But like these fast food companies change their menus all the dang time now. It used to be there was always the same thing on every fast food menu, but now all of a sudden, like every week, I think there's something new on one of these menus.
Every week Taco Bell has taken something off their menu.
Oh yeah, they've been
And then
yep.
added like two new things on that are different combinations of the things that they already make. And, like so I'm not saying to say that you are right or this person was right to deny you the sauce. Is that even included in the dish anymore? I don't know. And so like I can't, if it is, or like it normally would have been, right? If this was not a pandemic and you could just go in and order normal food, like would if the sauce would have been there, then absolutely 1,000% you're correct, right?
So let me phrase it for you another way, because I have had a similar problem, different dish, same. It wasn't actually. Yeah, same restaurant. Mozzarella sticks. Should I have to ask for the marinara?
No. Okay, come on.
They forgot the marinara.
All right. This place then clearly is trying to like shave margins or something and like really hates giving people dips. I hate that. That sucks, man.
I have
Especially for something like mozzarella sticks where like
That's
you know.
the dish, right?
Yeah,
It's the
you know.
mozzarella sticks and the marinara. It's a thing.
Yeah, okay. So that's it. I was building up a lot of comments here as the questions were rolling in.
If I order French fries and I don't ask for ketchup or I don't ask for barbecue sauce and you don't put anything in the bag, that's fine. That's on me. But it's not; those aren't a thing.
I
right?
often don't want ketchup.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
All those things. Like
Yeah,
I
sure.
just like fries generally. If your fries are good enough, they don't need anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I sometimes dip In-N-Out fries in ketchup. That's because they're not
well,
great.
look, hold on. You should dip them in sauce.
And I just don't like the sauce that much, so
Okay.
I order light sauce on all my burgers there.
You know
So,
what I do with I've changed.
But
my
my point though is
Okay.
that if you have like fries from like McDonald's, whose fries are amazing, you just eat those fries. You don't need anything with the fries.
Sure.
They're good. That was my point. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I don't even know where to begin on this. First of all, you're right, and mozzarella sticks are a dish. They come with marinara, although
Yes.
I'm not going to blow up a particular person here. I saw someone eat mozzarella sticks with ranch.
I've
And
seen that. That's fine.
Okay.
Ah.
But who is
Is-
eating dry mozzarella sticks?
Okay,
though?
okay.
That's what I want.
You're right. You're right. That's better than dry. But like at the same time, what kind of cholesterol are we trying for here? Eating fried cheese and then dumping ranch on it.
I mean, in a lot of places, mayonnaise is a very common dip for fries, and that's basically ranch,
True.
right?
I taught
Yeah.
one of my kids to dip her fries in her milkshake.
Oh,
I felt very
was
accomplished.
it life changing?
Yeah. Yeah. The eyes lit up and I felt like the best father in the world. Okay. Outside of your question, completely. Like I changed the basis of your question. Should it have come with sauce or should it have not come with sauce? Why would they change the dish? Because at the point that it doesn't come with the sauce, I would argue the value of the mini taco is lost as an item.
Okay, so you are arguing the mini taco is useless if it cannot be dipped.
Why
Right.
not get the regular taco if it doesn't have the sauce?
Right. So they have a dressed up version which you can order. They're separate menu items and it comes with, a couple of different sauces drizzled over top of it, but not the same sauce.
Right, sure. But then like the value of the tiny little taco is lower to me if it doesn't come with the fancy stuff that it would have come with to begin with. Like you've changed the value proposition if you've changed the dish.
I think part of why it's hard to make this distinction, I think, is are these individual discrete items that someone would eat separately from the sauce, or are they purely for dipping like mozzarella sticks are? I think the issue is that the Jack in the Box tacos, I'm using air quotes here around them, are
Mhm.
so barely a taco. Like they're almost in cases
Meat
closer to
pocket, basically.
dumplings
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
than actually tacos. And so then, like, if it's a dumpling, yeah, you're gonna dip a dumpling in something. That's like kind of what you do with dumplings. Are you gonna dip a taco, like a normal taco? No, I would not be dipping normally a taco into sauce.
Well,
I would
okay.
be putting things
Sure.
on the taco, right, and then eating it. You would not be dipping the taco.
I often
And
use my
so-
tacos to scoop up things though that have like dismantled themselves. So that's kind of dipping.
Yeah, but you put the things on the taco first, and then they fall off, and then you scoop them up.
Yeah.
It's a different problem.
I'm trying to think if I've ever I mean, you dip a burrito.
Into salsa or
And yeah, I've often gotten like LA has very good breakfast burritos in many places, and they give you like big containers of the very light salsa / hot sauce that you then dip that burrito in.
I mean,
Or
You
you
could
I
also
guess
just
pour
pour
it
it
over
on
the
top.
top. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I've never dipped a burrito, but I have poured.
What's the
on
difference
top
between
many,
a dip
many
and
things.
pouring? I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
it's the same thing.
Fair. Like I would, if I didn't have the sauce with the burrito or the hot sauce or whatever, I would be annoyed because it's part of the enjoyment of the thing.
There you go. Solved. You should have gotten the sauce.
Yeah, and
Gripe
while we were
approved.
talking, I checked the website. They did not remove the sauce. It's
Well, he
still
did-
advertised as
Yeah,
being a
okay.
thing.
Well, then you got
this-
screwed.
Yeah, man. This person either at this particular Jack in the Box was having a bad day, or they don't understand that dish is supposed to come with the sauce, and therefore don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. So now I
Bummer.
just got to ask. That's the lesson from here on out. I can't rely on people to just give
Do
me
their
what
job?
I'm supposed to have.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's possible they were hired during the pandemic and don't actually even know what a normal version of the dish is like.
Sure, that's the thing.
Well, you know what has happened to me at Jack before is I've gotten this specifically has happened to me at Jack before, where I've gotten to the front window and I get the stuff in the bag and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we ran out of like this and this." And it was like I think it was something to do with fries and it was like, "Well, so what did you give me?" "Oh, just like plain fries." And you're like, "Okay, but I ordered the thing so you're going to give me like half of what I ordered for the same price and not tell me until I got to the window that you ran out."
And so, like, where's my
Yeah.
refund, please?
Yeah.
Like,
So like now I have to hand this back to you, but no. I'm not going to do that now. Anyway,
yeah,
weird.
that is a jerk move by the chain in order to like I said, shave costs like a little tiny bit. Aha, we saved 1 ounce of avocado crema.
Yeah.
Which then they probably threw away,
away
half
at the
a
end of the day.
container
Sure.
at the end of the day
Uh-huh.
anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah. Oh well. You know what I've started doing with my In-N-Out fries, speaking of the sauce and you not liking it? Back before when you could be in the restaurant safely, I would get them well done, so they were a little more crispy.
you can still get them
Yep.
well done.
Oh no. But I got them well done for a reason. Cuz then I would cover them in pepper, and because it's In-N-Out, they have lemons, and I squeezed lemons over them and then tossed them.
That feels like a very German preparation. Right,
At the point-
the lemons over your schnitzel and over your potatoes.
Oh, maybe,
I
yeah.
f- I feel like at the point you're doing this much work, In-N-Out should just make fries that are more flavorful
Oh, I was
instead of being slightly limp potatoes.
I just thought it was an interesting preparation that you can make at a fast food chain.
It is cool that you can do all kinds of things. I have never really come around on the well done fries because I am lazy and it always takes longer when you order them. And I
I
hate
just
it.
found that not getting them well, the lemon makes them too soggy.
I believe that.
Anyway,
Yeah, I just put a little ketchup on them if I eat them that way. Otherwise, I just eat them dry. and
you know what
whatever.
comes on fries? Almost all fries?
Salt.
Yep,
Salt.
salt. Uh-huh. Have you heard of pink salt?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you used pink salt?
Yes.
Have you bought pink salt?
No.
I feel like we might have some in the house somewhere, but I personally haven't used it. It may have been on food that I've eaten.
I see. Apparently this is an invention.
I mean,
By nature.
Yeah, by nature, but like the idea that it is any different than normal salt is some sort of weird invention of the mind.
yeah, I mean it is just salt. I don't think it tastes different, right? It's just
But I guess-
it might though, because different salts do have different mineralities to them that
Well-
make them taste different. Like water that has different mineral concentrations in it,
Iodized and non-iodized should taste different.
and they do. Yeah.
But
yeah, so
beyond
like sea salt versus
sea
like
salt and kosher salt, I don't know if I could taste the difference between those two things, or like
I can.
we're gonna have to test this.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
We
yeah,
have
I
to test this right
truly
now.
don't believe that. Yeah,
So I don't know if I could tell you the difference of having it like in a dish, but if I like try sea salt versus trying table salt, and not just the size of the crystals.
Kosher salt and sea salt and table
Sorry,
salt are all
kosher
different.
salt. Yeah.
But you could tell the difference between kosher salt and sea salt.
I believe sea salt and iodized salt 100%.
Oh
will
yeah,
taste different.
iodized salt tastes different than other salt. Guaranteed.
I don't
Well,
I
kosher-
don't know that I believe kosher salt and sea salt are
I don't
going
know
to
about
taste
kosher
different
and sea,
enough.
kosher and table.
Oh, but you could feel the difference. It's coarse.
Well, but I mean, besides that, there's a difference in taste.
Okay.
Like, so there's a difference in salinity between the two,
Well, table salt is iodized salt, right?
even if it's not iodized.
Oh. We're gonna have to test this when we're allowed to be
It,
together in
it
person.
is this going to be a thing where it's like, oh, because it's ground up into smaller
You know what?
particles, it tastes different? It's like,
You know what?
yeah,
I've still got a lot of those taster cups we used for our get together, our social distance get together where I made everybody's food all safely and all that. And so I can
Mm.
put like 5 different salts per person in those little containers. I'll write numbers on them. We'll do blind.
okay. That doesn't work for like the pink one, but it works for everything else, right? Because the other ones you'd be able to
Yeah.
see.
Well, if we do it at night or
Blindfold.
blindfolded, there you go. There you go.
I'm just gonna blindly pour this salt in my mouth.
I
Oh
don't know. I was
God.
reading. I was reading about. I don't know why it came across my feed, but someone was like, "Here's the entire history of pink salt and why you shouldn't spend a bunch of money on it."
Was the end conclusion that it's salt?
Yes, basically, it came down to like the flavor difference is negligible, if at all detectable, and you're paying for marketing.
Here is the fun part. My wife has been going to like these Zoom cooking classes that are offered for free through various programs that she's a part of, right?
Sure.
And they have famous chefs come in. So like they had Thomas Keller, they had Wolfgang Puck, and these other famous people, right? So like famous celebrity chefs, right? And there's a little, oftentimes at the end of the cooking lesson they do a little Q&A, or people will pipe up with questions or whatever. All the questions go through a moderator, so like you can't actually just like turn on your microphone and interrupt Wolfgang Puck's speech or whatever.
Right.
But so people will be like, oh, I have a question about like this ingredient or how you prepared this or whatever, and they ask them, and then the chef answers and whatever. Someone asked, I think it was, I want to say it was Thomas Keller, or someone like that. Anyway, asked him while he was preparing a dish, oh, what kind? He just said, oh, and you put salt on this, like a pinch. And we're like, just to be clear, a pinch is not like a tiny amount, right? You literally take your 2 fingers, you dig all the way into the salt, and you get as much as you can fit between those 2 fingers. That's what a pinch is. And the lady asks, is like, oh, what kind of salt do you use? Do you use sea salt, kosher salt, all these other kinds of salt or whatever? And he's like, I don't know, salt. You just like normal salt, whatever, like is the big industrial salt. Just use it. He was like, it's a silly question to ask. It doesn't matter. Just use the salt. Like, who cares what kind of salt you have? If you think the salt is bad or something, just use more.
Oh wow.
His solution to everything is like, there's
More salt.
unless it's flavored or whatever, like flavored salt is a thing, right? But
Yeah.
Unless it's flavored, he's like, who cares? It's all the same. Just use salt. Like,
Sure,
or if you
yeah.
need like big particles or
Yeah,
whatever.
like
that's a
Yeah,
thing.
seasoned salt is not salt.
If you're cooking it into something, though, it doesn't really matter that much what kind you have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his point was just like, you just you get whatever you want and just put it in there. Like, if you think your salt is bad, put a little more. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, salt is about doing things to a dish so that other things taste different. Right.
Right.
So, all right. We should really talk about some games.
True to brand, we were
people come for the
gamers.
food.
People do.
Stay for the games.
I think this is true. Come for the food, stay for the games. Let's talk about Michael, door 1 or door 2?
Which door is Ichiban Kasuga behind?
It doesn't matter because we're going to talk about it now.
Oh man.
I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, is the name
Yeah.
of this game.
Is it really called Like a Dragon? It's not like Yakuza 7 or Yakuza whatever.
No,
It's literally
no.
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yes, that is the name.
Okay, I was not on the fence, but like, oh yeah, I'll eventually get to that, but now I'm excited.
It is called Yakuza Like a Dragon. It is a new protagonist, new storyline that is not connected. I can't say it's not connected, but it is not require you to know really anything about the previous games.
Sure.
Okay, so dive right in.
So
Yep.
so I don't have
You
to
can-
go play Yakuza 0 or whatever.
You don't have to, but maybe you will want to because those are also fun games. Year Zero especially is really cool.
Okay.
But I think the thing that is this game is a JRPG, you guys. I don't know when or how, and I have talked about Yakuza games on this stream before, and I feel like we have said I have mentioned they're action games, right? You kind of have like moves, and you beat the guys up, and you have styles, and you switch around between them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
not like super duper Dark Souls action, but like there's combat,
it
right?
yeah, it's like action game combat, and it is not. Yeah, it's not like Dark Souls in that it is like difficult. I don't think the game is difficult. Um, any of the Yakuza games, actually, they're not difficult. But I think it was definitely actiony. But there's straight up a menu. There's turn-based combat. There's party members.
Now is it
You have
active time battle
summon
or like full
summon
on
equivalents.
like old school turn based like
So
you drop
so
into a menu into
there
a separate screen?
there are turns. There are active things that are happening in the battle, so that you can't just like take your hands off the controller and auto battle it out. There is an auto battle option, by the way. But
Nice.
even if you use the auto battle option, there are still active things that can happen that you may want to press buttons for. But for instance, so when it's your turn, right? A menu pops up on the like lower side, and each of the face buttons corresponds with a thing, right? So you have your four options. There's attack, there is guard, there is E for etc. And then there is S for special.
Okay.
Uh, and those letters are S, E, G, and A.
Clever.
This game is made by Sega.
Wow.
Um,
I like it.
yep,
It's a good reference.
it's very good. And so uh, the S, your special, are basically like your skills, right? So you have like equivalents of magic because there are things like status effects. You can catch a cold, which is like poison. You can get burns, which is like a damage over time. You can get paralyzed. You can get stunned. It the things that can happen to you in a JRPG battle, right?
Yep. Typical status effects.
Yep. There are just normal actions, right? That'll just do some sort of damage. Like a giant swing with your fist or whatever, or a series of rapid blows. All of these skills will, not all of them, but a lot of them will have some kind of timing component. So usually X is like for repeated mashing, and Y is for like timed press. And so usually you'll get some sort of bonus if you press the correct button at the correct time. Usually it's like, oh, it'll do a little more damage, or
Oh.
maybe you'll swing a little bit farther so it has a wider area effect or something like this.
Okay.
Back to Gunblade times.
Yes, except the prompt is on screen and very obvious. It's not like you can forget about it or miss it. It's like big right here, bro. Hit X. Like, hey. You can also not do it, I guess, but like, what else are you doing? It's turn based. You might as well mash X, right? Um, and so then that character's turn is over, and you can see your party members' portraits along the bottom. There will be a little thing on their portrait that says now, and the person whose turn it is next will be highlighted with a little next on their name. So oh, okay, like my turn is now, and next will be an enemy. So if I can take that
I
guy out, he won't get to act,
I
right?
like that. I really like
Yeah, the Final
systems like
Fantasy.
that.
That's that Final Fantasy 10
Yeah,
turn order bar.
the
It's
turn order
not
bar is
all the
so good.
way. It's not all the way turn order bar because you can't see beyond a next.
Okay, so but you still get an idea of where to focus.
Yeah, and it definitely helps you like go, "Oh, okay, like this bad guy is next and he's kind of low. We should all just sort of like dogpile that guy and get him out of the fight or whatever." Yeah, and your characters still move around the battlefield kind of like they're walking around in a street fight.
But the battlefield is separate from the overworld. You drop into a battlefield.
No, you don't. No,
Oh,
it's just right there.
okay.
You walk into these guys, or they walk into you, however it is.
So then
Um,
you can just run away, I guess.
you can absolutely just avoid. There are random encounters in this game, except you can see them coming. I say that because it is often not possible for you to run away, but you know that the fight is there. It's not like you're surprised that there's a fight.
Okay.
And so then it goes to the next party member, and then they have the same set of options. And then battle proceeds like that. You don't see hit points on the enemy's side, so like you don't have an idea exactly how many hit points they have. You see have a bar, but you do see like damage numbers come off them when you hit them with your skills. So if I
Classic.
hit, yeah, exactly,
And you can kind of see the bar move down so you can guess. You're like, "Oh, that
totally.
was 500 and it did a quarter."
Right. The numbers are lower. They don't like scale up into the hundreds so quick. I think like your hit points get up that high quicker, but like damage numbers, you're not doing over 100 so fast.
Okay.
But yeah, it is. There is a mechanic that is like summoning, where you can call people on your cell phone and have them show up to battle to do a special move.
Love it.
I like it.
Yeah.
The gating on the summoning seems to be that you have to pay money after you do it the first time.
Oh.
So it's like you get one. So a lot of these summons are kind of like things you get for free because of doing side quests and other various things, which, by the way, are fantastic. Just like in the old Yakuza games, like you want to keep doing the side quests because they're so ridiculous and fun. And then you get sometimes we'll get one of these characters in the side quest as a summon, or they call them pound mates.
What
As you
mates?
pound, like punch, pounding.
Like
It's the
fight
whole.
mates.
It's called Pound Mates. There's a joke about it. The whole thing is a stupid.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Everything is a dumb joke in this game. Believe
Okay,
me.
good.
They make a bunch of jokes about that exact thing that you're thinking of. Trust me.
Okay.
Uh, and and so then you get them available on your cell phone to use, right? And you can use them once for free, and then every time after that, it costs some amount of money. And they all then have restrictions like, oh, this one won't work against humans, or this one only works during night, or this one will only work during the day, or this one won't work against groups. So this one, all kinds of weird restrictions on them. So you can't just like, just pay your way out of the battle necessarily. Although I guess if you had enough money, you probably could. Not that it matters, because it's not like the combat is that hard. To be clear, like, JRPGs aren't always the most challenging games. And I think that is still true here. And it is just like, it is fun to see them try to do this like big crazy crime story with like gangsters and honor and the glory of our clans and all this stuff. Meanwhile, the character is like the main character is like says in the game that he's a huge Dragon Quest nerd and like thinks about life in terms of leveling up and all this stuff. And like, so like this is his conception for what fights are like in real life, because he's like, oh yeah, like, well, I'm not strong enough to beat these guys. I need to go level up like that. Oh yeah, obviously I can't just go fight the top of the gang. Like I can't just do that. I have to beat the lower guys first. That's how you do it.
Wow.
It is
You gotta
really
love
something.
the self-referential humor.
It is. And there are just so many weird things going on in this game. Honestly, I think they could use these Yakuza games as like Japanese tourism I don't like marketing or something, because all I see in this game takes place mostly in Yokohama. Whereas the previous games mostly took place in Kamurocho, which is like a neighborhood of Tokyo. This takes place in like a specific neighborhood of Yokohama. I've never been to Yokohama. Now I really want to go. It's just completely full of wacky side quests and like mini games around every corner that are, and like, yeah, the stuff that is objectionable about these games continues to be objectionable. They don't treat women necessarily great. There's a lot of there are women party members, so like you will have women on your team, but women and men can't take the same jobs because the jobs are, for whatever reason, like men can't become idols while women can't become construction workers.
Oof.
Like,
Ye-
why? I don't know why that is the
Mm,
thing, but yeah. So like there are some retrograde uh, politics in this game, and that just is what it is. But if you can look past some of that stuff, it is still really, really silly and fun.
Is there
I
a
Yeah,
fishing minigame?
I have not been fishing yet, but I'm pretty sure there is. So I have met multiple people that have been fishing, and there's a big river through the middle of the town. Like, there's nothing stopping there from being a fishing minigame. That's what I'm saying.
there you go, Andy.
I mean, it's got to have one if it's going to be a JRPG. I've been told.
I know Yoko Taro himself said that, and so
Must be true.
I watched an interview with the creator of this series, who worked on almost all of the games. Apparently, they decided to make this game a RPG in the last 11 months of development.
How do you
Like
do
after
that?
they after they had like gone through most of the development, planning to make it like the other Yakuza games, and in the last 11 months decided to turn it into an RPG because of positive reactions to an April Fool's video where they had done that.
Is there like items and stuff
Oh yeah, yeah, of
equipment
course.
and okay.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't even talk about any of this. Yes, of course. Yeah, you can pick up equipment. Equipment is limited in some cases by job. So if the job that you have is like, if you're a bartender or if you're a construction worker, you can't equip the same kinds of weapons, right? In some cases, also accessories might be limited. Armor does not seem to be limited by job, but I also could be wrong and just I don't have a ton of armor right now. Again, the game is not that hard. I haven't had to like go looking for tons of armor upgrades. Uh, there's also a crafting system where you get like random materials when you defeat enemies, or in some cases you can buy them, and then you can go to a store where they will craft random stuff for you. So there's like a list of you can get your bat and turn it into a bat +1.
Whoa.
You can get your flaming lumber +2 or whatever.
Is that a thing?
I mean, I have a flaming lumber right now, so I don't see why I couldn't upgrade it to +2.
Is it always flaming?
Yeah, I mean it's just on fire generally.
What type of lumber are we talking about here?
Uh, it's I don't like a 2x2 or something.
But
It's not.
it literally looks like
He's holding a
a
piece of
piece
lumber,
of home improvement wood,
and the end of it is on fire, and then he hits you with it.
like walking tall
Yeah, yeah. It's a big
lumber.
piece of construction lumber, and he's holding it, and then he hits you with it.
A stick, one might say.
Yeah, yeah. It is that character generally equips like baseball bats and like sticks of that nature. So yeah, this is that.
That's awesome. Wooden weaponry.
Metal bats, all good. Police
Oh,
batons,
okay.
it just that general length. There is a character who starts, his initial job is homeless person because he starts as homeless, and he has like an umbrella that he uses. And then I think I later gave him a giant pencil, and then I changed his job into a chef, and then he was using for a good long time like 2 soup ladles, and now he has 2 whisks.
That's awesome.
He just like it. And so again, the thing, like, I talked about how this game, like, you don't change screens, right? Like it's not like you jump into a sub world or whatever when you go into the battle. You're still in the town. You're still walking around the space, but your characters kind of change, right? Because when they're just running around normally, they're all wearing their normal clothes, like what they normally are wearing. But when the battle starts, everyone transforms, including the enemies, into like what the hero thinks is going on.
Oh no.
Well, because if you're in a different job than like your normal like the normal clothes the character wears are not the same ones his like job in the game is necessarily, because
Yeah.
jobs also have different outfits, right? And so when it starts, your main character may put on like a suit and glasses because he's the bodyguard, or he puts on his construction worker uniform, or the girl puts on her bar hostess uniform or whatever.
But it's still in
And
the
all
overworld.
yes.
Weird.
And all the enemies also transform. It's like, oh, these like generic looking thug guys that you walked into. It turns out one of them is a uh all the enemies names are like puns. I'm trying to think of one that off the top of my head. It's like this guy is a steamed punk, and that guy is a perverteer,
Oh no.
and like this guy is a like rambling man, and he's like a guy with a guitar or whatever.
Wow.
And every single enemy is like that.
But that's also not new to JRPGs, like punny enemy names.
Absolutely, it's in fact extremely common in Dragon Quest, the
Which
game
I
that
take it
this.
Ichiban is a big fan of.
Absolutely, he is. Yes, they
Yeah.
call it out by name, and in fact, a lot of the sound effects that like happen when you get a new party member and stuff. Hey, bro, I think they use the Dragon Quest sound effects.
I think what you're going to find here at the end of this game is that the entire game's been inside of his mind. If everybody's changing into weird jobs out of their suits and stuff like that, there's a chance that there's some sort of mind palace happening to you.
Andrew, in order to change jobs, you have to go to the employment agency and talk to the employment agency trainer in order to change your character's jobs.
I see.
Because your characters start off and they literally don't have jobs
I
and they
see.
need to do something.
I see.
And so then you get the ability to change your jobs later.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, though, it also means you can't change jobs like whenever you want. And so you kind of get stuck with certain things. Like if you later decide, oh, I don't want to be this job, I want to switch back to another one or go to a new one that I've unlocked. You can't do that until you can get back to the overworld and then can go back to the employment agency.
It's probably nice though that the game isn't hard enough that you're always sitting there being like, yeah, this one job's really dragging me down.
Yeah, it turns out that it's not that hard, so that's not really a problem.
Nice.
Yeah, and like oh no, I changed my healer out of the one class that he had that had a healing ability. Some some skills carry over into other jobs as well. And at least one character I know has a healing skill that carries over no matter what job they're in. So
That's good.
I really think you guys should play this. It is really fun. There are some parts that I don't like, and I will be happy to talk about them. But it is so out of left field. Like I didn't expect this. I didn't really understand that this game was totally different until after it was out. I was planning to play it anyway because I've liked these games in the past, and I was just so shocked to discover that I'm playing a JRPG. I thought we were still playing Final Fantasy 12. I didn't know. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 are all on Game Pass.
You should play those. Those games are great.
And so my guess is that eventually this will come to Game Pass, and that's when I'll play it. And
Yeah.
that's not an ad. I'm just pointing out that that's probably
Seems like a good plan.
But we're always trying to find the most economical way if it's not like a game that you need to play now, you know?
Totally. And these games can wait. Like they're not going to change that much. There's not like rad DLC that's going to come out for this, I doubt. And in terms of like the Yakuza games, right? Of the ones I've played, in terms of like the zaniness of the story and like cool action moments and explosions and stuff, I would say Yakuza Kiwami 1 has the least.
It was the original, though, right? So it's the least zany because it's the first of that series of games, right?
It was not the Kiwami version, but
No,
the
I know,
original
but, like,
Yakuza.
Yeah, the original
Yeah,
one. Because the Kiwami
story
one
is
wouldn't have been redone that much.
Right. It was more they just put it into a new engine and redid all the cutscenes or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the story is the least bombastic, and then it gets pretty nutty in 2. 0 is like way nuttier, and so like it's kind of funny if you play them in timeline order, right? Because 0 takes place in like the 80s before the start of Yakuza 1. All this insane stuff had happened to this guy already, and then Yakuza 1 starts, and you're like, well, this is like tame compared with what you went through like
He's just getting a
10
little
years
break.
ago, dude. What did you forget? Like, so that's interesting. This one so far has been pretty zany. I am really, really enjoying it. Oh man, I forgot to mention Sujimon. Wow, how did I forget to talk about that? You get what was the Sujimon is an acronym or a like a portmanteau of something jittery men. I forget what it is. Anyway, it's like Pokemon for like scumbags or whatever in this
What?
town. And when you defeat an enemy, you get their entry into the Sujimon dex on your phone that you can look at, and it shows you
It's like
statistics about the various enemies or whatever.
it's like a
And you
hit
collect
list.
them all. And then once you have collected a certain number of them or whatever, you go back to the Sujimon sensei, who is a guy with a lab coat, and he gives you like stuff for having completed, oh, you've gotten this many entries out of the total. Congratulations. Here you go. Here's a prize.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Andy should be holding out for Sujimon Go.
Maybe. I mean,
I
if he wants to collect his own pro pickpocketer
I don't
and
think I need to be looking around town for scumbags to add to my phone. It seems like
you have to beat him in battle first. So,
yeah, I don't think I need to be beating anybody in battle in real life. It's not something I need to do.
Do we beat them in actual battle in real life though? You said it's all in his mind, so
Ooh. I'm guessing. I have somewhat Pokemon Go. It's not news, but like I actually realized today when the app updated its icon on my phone that I can't remember the last time I opened the app for Pokemon Go. They updated the phone app icon and I looked at it. I was like, what is that? Oh, it's Pokemon Go.
when you just take this thing, you slide it down there to the trash, and you
Yep.
just let it go.
You know, everybody has their own little free to play game. I know Michael's probably still playing that Final Fantasy free to play game.
Yep.
See?
Still going strong.
Uh-huh.
They
I don't
haven't
know.
turned the servers off for that one yet?
No, they're still pushing out new content on a real super regular cadence.
I just got to the point that it was like, okay, now I've caught everything I can catch locally, basically, unless they do events. And then when they do events, half of the time I'm busy, and I'm not going to obfuscate what I'm doing normally just to stop and do a Pokemon event. And so that leaves me with like high-end content that I need to do in groups, and they've added ways to do it in groups. We talked about how good it was. Ryan and I talked about how good it was. They added all these things, but it kind of eventually got a little stale, and then they added Mega Evolutions to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mega Evolutions is not friendly to casual players, so I kind of fell off of it at that point. Yeah, that's my Pokemon Go half minute. Mega Evolutions killed me on the game. Oh well. I had a good time playing it while it happened.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
You know what it'll be? It'll be the same thing as before, right? Like I played that game a lot when it came out, and then I took a break for 2 years. So I'll take another break for like 2 years.
Try it again.
Try it again. See what's new, what I can waste my time doing in there. And that's fine. All right. You spoke about timelines. JJ,
Yes.
how are you enjoying the newest timeline? Having been asleep for 4 years and awoken because Cortana needed us.
I'm so disoriented, Andy. I was asleep for 4 years.
Michael, Halo 4 launched.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Master Chief Collection.
Master Chief Collection, Halo 4, the last quote-unquote game in that collection. We'll see. I have a feeling they're going to need to do something with Halo 5.
I have a feeling they're going to release it as a game you can buy.
Yeah, I don't think they have any need to dump it into the collection anytime soon.
Well, they do need to put it out.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah, as a game you can buy.
Okay. Um. Okay. We'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about Halo 5 in a second. Halo 4. We did not finish it quite yet.
Well, we finished the fight in Halo 3. That was the whole thing. So now we're restarting the fight
Well, you're
or
fighting a new
something?
fight. Now you have
Okay.
to employ
We
your
finished one fight.
skills.
Now we're starting a second fight.
Well,
New fight.
now we're fighting amongst ourselves, but also the didact.
The Didact is such a silly name, Andrew.
I know.
Every time they say it, I have to struggle to not like go, what? Every time. It's just an inherently weird thing to think about. And I guess he's a forerunner, and that's like
He is.
something
Yeah.
that's important in this world, which
Well,
they eventually get around to explaining, but not for at least half of the game.
You knew who the Forerunners were.
You did? I don't
Yes.
know that it's necessarily explained in any of the Halo games we played.
It told you in the other games that the Halo rings were created by the Forerunners.
Okay. So
That's-
if you remembered that piece of lore, you might
Yes.
go, oh, these are the people that
Guilty
built the
Spark
Halos.
says it like 7 times. That's as
Okay.
much as it happened. I think if we were more adamant about finding terminals, we would know more about that. Not in this game specifically, but in like Halo 3 especially, I think we would have gotten more Forerunner lore.
So anyway, whatever with the lore. I mean, I'm here for the story, but I'm also not here for the story. Man, this game sure looks good though. That's what I'm gonna say.
It was shocking when we got into it.
Well, considering the last one we played was ODST, which is, I know for sure, a 360 game.
Yeah, and kind of grimy at that, right?
Yeah. Very like streets and grime and whatever. Halo 3, I thought looked fine.
Yeah.
The last like really good looking game we played was Halo 2 Anniversary.
Yeah.
But then that was an update, right? And so of course it looked good. But this looks better than that, I think. And man, does it run well.
This,
Yeah.
I looked it up after to make sure I was right. One of the two things I'll say about the game is this is 343's first Halo game.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I think, why they poured so much energy into making it look great.
It really, really does. All the guns look cool.
Oh yeah.
Even the Forerunner ones, which are bad, some of them, they look extremely cool. Whether they're good or
Sure,
not, separate
yeah.
discussion.
I like that they
yeah.
took the time to say, well, he's been asleep 4 years, so the battle rifle doesn't look the same, and we've got some new guns, and we got, obviously JJ alluded to it, Michael. They added a whole new race to the game.
Okay.
They took out the Flood, which is I think you've heard us complain every single time we've talked about Halo, being like,
yeah, I'm guessing you guys aren't sad about that.
no one was ever sad about that.
They could have taken them out of Halo 1 and people would have been like, yeah, okay, it's fine, even though they're integral to the plot of that game.
Well, I think the other thing that happened and why you're kind of eye rolling about the Forerunners and all that is 343 took over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, they had to prove to people that they were paying attention and that Halo wasn't just any old game to them. And so they created this, what they decided was this masterpiece plot of like, well, we're going to bring back in all the lore. And then people will know that we care. And they really hammer you with the lore hard.
They do. There is a lot of cutscenes that are like, whoa, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Humans are like, I don't know, do we want to spoil Halo 4, a game that's like 8 years old or something?
I think that you are now in the spoiler zone unless Michael decrees differently.
No, I think it's fine at this point.
Michael, humans are the ancient aliens.
What?
Humanity was around from before the Forerunners were around, and we were fighting them in space and stuff, but then they beat us and they de-evolved us, man.
Ooh. I'm just picturing the aliens guy now.
Yeah, it's real. I think that I got that right, Andrew?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We
So
also are the Prometheans.
yes, humans are the ancient aliens from before the ancient aliens too.
No, they're the ancient. They're the ancient aliens' weapons that we are fighting.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Okay, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
So
the
like
like crazy space technology that you're fighting against actually was built by humans back when humans were good,
they used their
better.
tech to turn us into weapons and then also de-evolved us because the bad guy's married to the good guy. I don't know if you
I
caught
mean,
that part.
oh, they didn't really say that, but
Yeah.
they made it clear that they were like lovers or something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It,
And one of them likes humanity and the other one didn't. So that was the
it goes a
solution.
bit beyond. It goes a bit beyond like
Yeah.
and like dislike. I kind of feel like that guy really has it out for us specifically, and the other one is really like
You're
almost the like Mother Earth persona.
yeah.
She's very
I've
very
taken
like
thousands of years to evolve your species. Oh, that's the other thing. Spartans aren't the idea of the Spartan and creating the Spartan was genetically encoded into us, Michael, so that we would
Okay.
evolve the Spartans because that's the next step of our evolution.
and
So we had
and
no choice.
Master Chief was the eventual always going to be outcome of humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, humans need to evolve to become Master Chief,
I
whatever
think
it is that we are now.
I think overall I want to stop bagging on the story for a minute because the story is not horrendous
It's fine. It's
compared
totally
to every
fine.
other Halo game. It is exactly equivalent and in some
Yeah,
cases
totally
much
fine.
more coherent.
The silliness, it is fun to make fun of how silly it is because it is silly, but it's fine. The game is fine. It's totally fine. The shooting is fun. I don't know that I'm like really excited about the Forerunner weapons.
Some of them are
Because
great and some of them are terrible.
yeah, the Halo always has that kind of like rock paper scissors thing where it's like this gun is good against this kind of enemy, but this kind of enemy is strong against that gun, so you need to use a different kind of gun. And like when you fight Covenant, you do it this way. When you fight the brutes, you do it this way. And then when you fight the hunters, you go this way. And the Forerunners kind of shake all that up because they're like a third side of now what is a triangle, right? And so like, oh well, these guns don't work good against this Forerunner, but against this one it's good because I can snipe them really easy. And like all but the Forerunner guns then don't always fit easy into that triangle because I'm not clear like who when I'm using the Forerunner carbine, is it good against this guy or not? Or like I can tell you the Forerunner sniper rifle's pretty good against that guy, but it's good against everything. So like I don't know.
Yeah, the problem that you run into, I think, is it's uneven in their availability, right?
Yeah,
Unless there's a
totally.
level where all the enemies are around, you can't pick the weapons up that are good against certain enemies. So sometimes you'll run into the fact that, like, oh, well, we're fighting all these things. I wish that I had a Covenant carbine right now. Or, like, I need my
Yeah.
human DMR for fighting this fight that's upcoming. But all I have now, because the only people we've been fighting are Promethean weapons, and so you kind of
I
don't
think
get the
it is
same rounded availability that you did in the previous games.
Yeah, it definitely is unfortunate, and maybe this is just a matter of like they fixed this in Halo 5 or subsequent games or whatever. But like it is not easy for most of the games are like you get one type of gun at the very start of the mission and then you fight one type of enemy mostly through that mission, right? So it
Yeah,
is the chance for you to get like you don't see all three sides of the triangle at the same time, right? So like you can't go get a Covenant weapon when you're fighting only the Forerunner guys,
That makes sense.
and you can't get the Promethean weapons when you're only fighting the Covenant. And so then you're just like, well, I can't see where the other side fits into this equation. And so then it kind of ends up feeling weird when if for instance you bring a Forerunner weapon into the start of the next mission, and then it's only humans from there on or whatever.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. It's an interesting game. It's not so different as like ODST was from the originals. Your shields are a little less compared to H3. They've changed a lot of the weapons around for different functions. They added a bunch of new ones that I love. The saw and the DMR are great, but
Saw is so good,
the
man.
saw is so good. It's unfair. Uh, but you have what's interesting about Halo 4 when it came out was like Bungie had fragmented the community of Halo players so much between Halo 3, Reach, and ODST in terms of online play that like the job of this game wasn't to be great at the story or anything else. It was to try and bring people back to one game to play, which it did for I think the shortest amount of time of any of the Halo games, and then everybody went back to either what they loved or stopped playing Halo or whatever. So it gets good marks for being a good game, I think, but then like tough historical marks for not holding up long term like the other ones did.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if we get to play Halo 5, which is completely different than what you're seeing here. Because I think what you can see coming for us is relatively open-ended, or not open-ended, but you can kind of see what's going to happen with the story, I would guess, at this point, since we're about 3/4 of the way through it.
Yeah.
And Halo 5 is just a completely different animal. So I'll be curious to see what you think of that one.
If it ever comes out.
If it ever comes out, yeah. And
I suspect it will come out.
Michael, you got to talk
as
me
part of the Master Chief Collection.
You got to talk me down from the ledge in the last 5 minutes here, Michael.
Okay.
Because they've done something in Halo that I despise.
Oh no.
And I need to be talked out of doing it. I was looking at the challenges. So they have seasonal and weekly challenges. Seasonal is until they decide the season's over or a new game came out, which they're done. So now it's whenever. And then weekly is obviously Tuesdays or whatever. They have done the thing where they lock skins behind multiplayer achievements.
Yeah, walk away.
So it's not like oh, go online and play 50 games and then you get the skin. It's go online and reach rank 20. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know why they do it because
you can't see me, but I'm shaking my head.
I know, right? I tried one game of Recon Slayer, which is what they ask you to do. I lost, and my rank didn't move at all. Like my personal achievement of being the highest scorer on our team at rank 1 paid off for nothing after 20 minutes of Recon Slayer.
Yeah, I can tell you that there are kind of a parallel. There are online multiplayer achievements for the rebooted Tomb Raider games.
Oh, really?
In Steam, yes. And I have never had any desire to get any of them after I finished the single player campaign, and I do not feel sad about that.
Think about this, Andrew.
I could make my sniper rifle Arctic.
And that would only show up in the multiplayer, which you're also not playing.
That's true. We did discover that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then it's definitely not worth it.
Yeah, as a test, I spent some time customizing some of the characters. And when we went into H4, it was like, oh, look, none of that showed up. I'm just Screen Master Chief. Got it. Okay.
Nope.
Bummer. They should make it so they show up in single. It can't be that hard. Anyway. All right. If you have thoughts about Halo 4 or Yakuza Blood of the Dragon? No, Blood Dragon's Far Cry. What's this one?
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon. Where would you send those?
You could send those to podcast@wewergamers.com. We are also on social media check us out at We Were Gamers, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the places.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should send us your description of the different flavors of salt. I want to hear people describe to me how salt tastes different, and then we're going to put Michael on that case.
So if you have your salty takes on salt, please send them to that email address, which is podcast.
Saltiest of takes.
Saltiest of takes.
Podcast@wewergamers.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. We're on YouTube, you guys. You should go on there and subscribe to that channel. And then after you subscribe to that channel, you should click the little button that notifies you whenever we post a video. So you can get stuff like hot Mandalorian episodes from Carbon Scoring that come out, I think, weekly at this point. It's not
It's
clear
bi-
if that's going to
I
continue
think
or
it's
not.
bi-weekly. I
A
think
deep dive into some Mandalore.
Yes, so
Mandalorian.
much Mandalore. I will own the fact that I was wrong about some things in the lore of the Mandalorian, and I don't care to correct it. So
You know what I was informed of some stuff that I had missed in the latest episode that just came out. There is a statue of IG-11 in the background of One Shot. I thought that was really cool.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you guys like that one? Just real quick.
yeah, it was perfectly good.
Perfectly acceptable as a.
Although
The
Time.
force is not for cookies.
It works for me.
they, you guys, did they say the M word?
What?
I think they said midichlorians.
Did they? No, I don't think he said.
They did. It's in the.
I think he
Mm.
talked about an M count, Andrew.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, he said
was an-
M count.
He
Okay,
said an M count in the hologram.
that's
I did
right.
catch that.
That's right.
And it talking about blood,
Yeah.
an M count,
Yep.
and are they bringing back the worst thing in Star Wars? Why would they do that?
Well, because it's there. It's part of Star Wars. It's never gone away.
Literally the worst thing, though?
I don't think it's the worst thing in Star Wars. I think there's a
I mean,
long
unless they're
list that's
cloning-
above
unless they're cloning
midichlorians.
Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Thing that negates the entire like aspect of this thing that they built up,
You know-
and like sort of makes it just some weird biology thing instead of being like a cool
Okay,
mystical
this is
thing.
not a
which is
debate
the
we can
whole
have
fun.
right now. But I
Yeah.
will.
I know. Okay, fine. I'm
With-
just saying, like, why would they do that? Don't bring back midichlorians, please stop.
It's got to happen.
This
Some-
is not the way.